What's up, guys? This is Gary Cook here again for another episode of Divas Dive. And this week, I am joined by my friend.
Oh, you want my name?
Go right ahead.
Okay, I guess I'll give a name. I'm Tim Robinson. I'm also known as Video Game Fury on the interwebs. That's all about video games.
We'll throw a link in the description below for that.
Oh, you're so kind to me.
I try.
Yeah. Well, you should. I'm letting you stay here. But yes, I'm here. I do all video game podcasting and talk about games, and even we're trying to work on some myself. But I'm here for Gary's sake because we love wrestling.
That we do. And today was our first day of Wrestlemania weekend. And we hit up Shimmer for their 113th show here in New York. As you all know, I am quite familiar with Shimmer and the women there. But this was Tim's first exposure to the awesome world of Shimmer.
I am not in that world at all there, unless I saw them in WWE. Not that I'm a shill for it, but I let this man lead the charge when it comes to that.
Yep, so I'm educating him on proper women's wrestling outside of the WWE. And man, we had a good show today, though. It was a lot of fun. I quite enjoyed being out there.
Yeah, less Ronda Rousey, but I think that's okay.
That was definitely a plus.
Okay, good.
Less Ronda was, yes, definitely good for the show. But once we found parking and got to walk 3 blocks, we got in, and the arena was quite nice. I was quite impressed by La Boom. I wasn't quite sure what to expect going into it, but it was a nice venue for wrestling.
Let's clarify that arena equals Latina club.
Yes.
So.
Yes, it was a Latin dance club for sure.
Yes, I mean, we might have gotten our salsa on. I'm not going to say it. You're never going to know.
Yeah.
So,
but no, it was a nice setup. Well, we had great seats for the show, and we're going to run through the card and what we thought of the matches here, and then hop into some predictions for the NXT event tonight and the Mania show this weekend for the women's side of things. And talk about that some, and then wrap it up and call it a day.
I like that style. I like your style.
I try. So the show kicked off with the Shimmer Championship on the line, because what better way to start a show than your title belt out there up for grabs?
Now, this was what's interesting to me there is that this is considered the world title, right?
Yeah, this is their Shimmer title. Yep.
So this is the opening match. I think we need to make sure we clarify that for the people here. So, by your knowledge, because you know Shimmer better than me, this is a pretty stacked card if this is the first match on the show.
Yes, it was a very stacked card, which was awesome. And there definitely was a lot more build for some of the other matches, which is why I think this one on first.
Mm-hmm.
But it was Nicole Savoy versus, I'm going to butcher your name and I'm so sorry, Hiro Matsumoto.
Yeah.
So that was the opening match. What were your first thoughts, since this is your first experience with independent women's wrestling?
So Matsumoto, as soon as I saw her come down the aisle, I already knew that this is one of the women in the Mae Young Classic.
Yep. That
fought there. I thought it was fun, and I liked her when I saw her compete in that, and she pretty much didn't disappoint there. Definitely more embracing comedic side, because every time she screamed Godzilla, I was breaking down laughing every time.
Yes.
So I enjoyed it. It was hard hitting, very heavy on suplexes. I think my one gripe about it is I think they could have done a little more variety on the show to mix it up, but I can't argue with an opener like that, especially when it's a world title match. My first insight into Nicole Savoy too, who I guess, and again, you're gonna to clarify here, it kind of comes off as that no nonsense, I don't know, like almost MMA approach to kind of fighting. Yeah,
she's a bit more of like just your get business done kind of.
Yeah, that's why I gotta get the sense the way she conducted herself in the ring. But I thought it was a pretty good opener. Got the crowd going, and like me, everyone liked Matsumoto like playing with the crowd and her Godzilla stick. She
was very animated and very engaging for the crowd to interact with. And I mean, they took it all over the ring, some of the outside work as well. Lots of brutal strikes, like you said. It looked like Nicole might have gotten hurt towards the end there some too, because they were helping her out of the ring at the end there. It looked like she did land a bit funny on one of the closing suplexes.
Yeah, like it was hard. I couldn't tell if they were selling at the end, like she was winning, or if she was just really legit hurt. Because like I said, there were a lot of suplexes, and I didn't get the indication one of them was doing wrong that she
yeah
on her head. But I mean,
well, one of the ones I saw where they didn't quite get her up as high, she kind of covered her head on the way down, like she thought she was going to hit weird. So I was wondering if somewhere in there she might have gotten a bit more of a bump than she was planning on taking, and kind of, because she looked a bit rattled getting out of the ring at the end.
Yeah, even when the ref raised her hand, she was kind of like, "All right, I'm done. Let's get to the back.
Let's just kind of go from here."
So, it was fun. It was hard hitting, like I said, and I think if you're going to choose a good way to open it, I mean, this should be an exciting match like that, which I think they did a good job. Yeah,
no, it was a good way to open it. Got the crowd into it really well. And the crowd definitely came alive once they started interacting with Hiro Matsumoto. We're going to butcher that name this entire show. So that was the opening match, and then it went into the Shimmer Scramble, which they laid out the basic rules of. It was like a lucha scramble, where if somebody's feet touched the ground, another wrestler could enter the ring, and it was only for one fall. But as with most things, that broke down pretty quickly at points.
It wasn't just me, right? Like, I thought I heard the rules correctly, and then it was like, all right, who cares anymore?
Yeah, probably about halfway through, it just kind of broke down into, let's just all beat each other up. So in that match, we had Vita Scott, Brittany Blake, Brandy Lauren, Allie Rex, Han, or Hoon, I always forget how she pronounces that, Shotzi Blackheart, Indy Hartwell, and Leva Bates. Now, Leva Bates was cosplaying as Britney Spears this show, and she came out and danced for us all and had the rendition for Oops, I Did It Again. Pretty well down pat that she put on display, which was awesome. She had the red Britney jumpsuit on and everything for it, so.
And if you are not as familiar with Shimmer as Gary's the one who's more familiar with Shimmer there, but I've known her, if you've known her through NXT, is Blue Pants.
Yep.
And it didn't hit my head at first until you poked me in the shoulder. I'm like, that's Blue Pants. I'm like, Blue who? And I started coming to the ring doing her thing. I'm like, oh my god, I have Blue Pants! What the heck have you been doing for 3 years?
Exactly what you saw today, that she's been doing for 3 years.
Pretty much. She's just a full-time cosplayer.
Pretty much.
Out of the ring.
That's what she does. It's awesome.
Yeah, you told me she was on Twitch, right?
Yeah, she does Twitch too.
That's amazing.
But that is the one cool thing about Shimmer, that as you watch it, there's kind of like, for lack of a better term, a comedic rank within it. Where you kind of have your, not that they should be taken lightly, but you kind of have like your serious wrestlers, and then you have like your mid card and your comedy card are kind of equal, where the comedy card have skills, but their gimmicks tend to rely a bit more on comedy and things like that to portray their characters.
It comes across to me as you remember the promotion Shikara? It was kind of reminds me of that. Like
there's definitely a Shikara vibe to some of it.
Yeah.
The Sea Stars, who we'll talk about later, are actually, that's where they've come up through Shikara.
Oh, okay.
That's their main promotion for them.
That makes sense.
But so this match was just a whole lot of crazy all happening all of the time. Pretty much the ones that got the biggest reaction was every time Brandy Lauren did anything, she got booed. Like, she could just smile and the place started booing her, which just goes to the work she's been putting in as moving towards one of the top heels in the promotion. She's picked up a couple big wins in Shine and Shimmer lately, and has been kind of putting herself as the next big thing and rubbing people the wrong way with it.
Yeah.
And it comes across quite well.
Now, as you are the bigger Shimmer expert here, are there story beats to this I missed, or is this one of those kind of matches where they
try to
get in the card?
It wasn't much story beat as far as the people involved in the match.
It's like the Wrestlemania thing where they try to get everyone on the card.
They just tried to get everybody on the card here with this one, I felt like. But like her story beats just kind of just come from everybody being used to booing her because of previous stories and story arcs she's in. Allie Rex had a little fan sectional cheering for her when she came out. She is always lovable by the crowd because she's just a lot of fun to watch. And then Shotzi is, she's Shotzi. She is just fun. And
yeah,
I mean, there's no other way to describe her.
She's the one I think that, I mean, again, it was like a lot of wrestlers here. A lot of them I'm not overly familiar with other than Leva Bates. But she's the one who definitely stood out. Obviously, the appearance, green hair, almost had like a Mortal Kombat vibe to her costume, so it kind of stood out to me a bit. But
coming out with like the tank helmet and the horns and everything, definitely.
Exactly, like I just came from the outworld and Shao Kahn's forces.
Yeah.
So, but I think the moveset I think is what stood out. I think she was like flashing around the ring, doing like monkey flips and kicks. Definitely stood out to me, a lot of them. They were all pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean it was a great collection for the Scramble. I mean, all these women can hold their own quite well. And pretty much for most of it, Brandy and Indy played the heels of the match, getting a lot of the boos when they came in to do stuff and to break up the fun and things like that. There was a pretty cool spot where pretty much everybody had everybody else in a submission hold. And then Indy came in and just booted one in the face to break the whole thing up.
That's right.
That was a pretty cool spot. And then other than that, the Shotzi got her pops. Brittany Blake and Liv Bates kind of had a thing going back and forth over who the real Brittany was. Because Liv kept calling herself Brittany the entire time. And Brittany Blake was like, I'm the real Brittany! Every time she hit Leva Bates.
Oh, yeah.
And so that was a kind of a cool little comedy aspect to it as well. The match ended up ending with Huon hitting kind of like a 450 knee splash, I would call it, double knee almost, onto Allie Rex to get the pin. After it was Shotzi going up top, but Huon removed her and then dove off and hit that very impressive looking move for the win. And then Allie looked a little worse for wear getting out of the ring after that one, but it looked like she just had the wind knocked out of her. But
yeah, it was fun. It was what it needed to be. I think, you tend to see a lot of these multi-women matches. It's basically play all your greatest hits.
Yeah,
row after row after row. Make sure they're in sync.
Yeah,
and I think they did a good job in playing that.
Yeah, they hit their high points. They kept everybody engaged. The crowd was having fun with it. It was definitely not to be one of the super serious matches, but it was a lot of fun. Which then brought us on to Allison Kay, AK-47, versus Chris Starlander. So this was Tim's first time seeing pinkies raised for AK. Because she's classy AF. That's her gimmick, is she's classy AF.
This is classy.
So that's classy.
This is classy.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Just respect the queen and accept it.
All right.
Best way to do it.
You're the boss, or queen, or queen. I don't know what you are, so go ahead.
And then Chris Starlander is the intergalactic superstar, the greatest alien in our galaxy.
Yes.
And she's very talented in the ring. She's just fun to watch. I mean, she was trying to eat the streamers that were being thrown in the ring. She was licking the pinkies at times when they got thrown in her face.
Licking the pinkies of Allison.
Yep.
And sticking it in her own ears.
Yep. Giving her her own wet willies and then kneeing her in the face for it.
Classy AF.
Yep.
Like you said.
Always classy. So what did you think of this match, Tim?
Not bad. Like, solid. Like, I'm not going to say it's something I remember really well, and if I'm honest, those are kind of the standout moments to me.
Yeah.
I think this match was definitely more based on the character of Starlander than anything else. And then, it was a clash of styles. Like the typical, here's Allison Kay, I'm the classy person, you should respect me, you should take everything seriously, whereas Starlander clearly is the exact opposite.
She is not taking things very seriously.
Not at all, no. So, but you can create a lot of fun out of that, which I think again speaks to our earlier point about the other match that you have Blue Pants being Britney Spears, and now you have this person licking their fingers and sticking into their ears. Yeah, like I'm fine with that. I mean, no one's ever going to say it's a technical masterpiece, right? So. But it was solid for what it was here. I got a good laugh. Yeah, the nice thing I like with Chris is she does manage her comedy very well with the in-ring action, where she doesn't let one or the other really kind of overpower the match. So that way it's not just like, haha, this is all comedy. She does have really good wrestling ability to match it up with that she gets to show off as well. But yeah, I expected a better match just given who they both were, but I think that the styles didn't mesh as well as they were hoping. I am a huge AK fan. She was one of the ones that got me back into wrestling when I first discovered Shine and Shimmer. When I was kind of on a drought of being over the WWE, Allison Kay, Barbie Hayden, and some others were the ones that kind of sucked me back in with their storytelling in the ring.
So I was a little biased going into the match because I am a big AK fan. But it was definitely not one of her best matches, but it was a solid match, I felt, all the way around. And on a card this stacked, some great talent is going to get just lost in the shuffle when you're going pretty much top to bottom girls that can main event a show on most normal days. That there's going to be some that are just not going to stand out as well. Going from one unique match to a much more bizarrely unique match is you got introduced to Su Yung tonight.
Yes, I did. And I don't know what to say.
And she was going against Shazza McKenzie, the Aussie, who is known for her hardcore.
That was also interesting.
Hardcore?
Yes.
The chance?
Something like that.
Yeah.
And the concept.
Yes. She's all heart in the ring.
Apparently. Well, I got nothing.
Yeah. This was an odd match just because, especially because this was not a typical Su Yung match. And the brutality was not at the normal levels of heights that she goes to, that we've gotten used to. The highlight for me was by far the "You Killed Allie" chants. Just because of my Demon Bunny love. It was heartbreaking that Allie was murdered by Su Yung.
Can you explain that to me a little more too? Like what was they did the "You Kill Allie" chants there? So
yes.
Obviously, a little context for my benefit too.
Okay, so on Impact there has been a war between the undead forces of Su Yung, Father Mitchell, the Undead Bride, and her undead bridesmaids against Rosemary, who is the agent of the Shadow. The Shadow, nobody knows who the Shadow is. It's just the voice in the darkness that speaks to her. And she is the demon assassin who is stuck in a meat suit of Courtney Rush and looking to understand humanity pretty much for the Shadow. Allie is the bunny who the Shadow appointed to basically be Rosemary's bestie and BFF and explain humanity to her.
Interesting.
So to get at Rosemary, since they couldn't beat her in the ring, Father James Mitchell and Su Yung went and kidnapped Allie and stole her soul and turned her into Dark Allie. So the bunny went evil.
Oh.
So there's been this whole story of the Dark Allie and Su Yung running rampant and kind of destroying all of Allie's friendships she had an Impact. And then a match was set between Su Yung and her undead bridesmaids and Dark Allie versus Rosemary, Kiera Hogan, and Jordan Grace. And the winner got Allie.
Interesting.
So Rosemary's team won, and she got back Dark Allie. But the fine print, of course, of the Dark contract never said anything about her soul. They just got the empty...
They got the empty shell.
They got the empty shell of Dark Allie. So that led to the last episode of Impact. Rosemary went back to the Shadow Realm to find Allie's soul to return to the body. And in the process of trying to return her soul, a fight breaks out. Su Yung is about to stab Rosemary. Allie jumps between, eats the blade for her, and dies in Rosemary's arm in the middle of the ring that is located in hell. There's a wrestling ring in hell.
Okay. Yeah.
Because why not?
I guess. You know.
I mean, we're already talking undead demon assassins here, so...
Different realms, different rings.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, so 7 rings of hell, they were in one of those.
Yeah. So the bunny died.
So the bunny died.
Saving her best friend.
Yes. So now you have an unhinged Rosemary on the loose in Impact because she has nothing left to fight for because her happy-go-lucky partner has been taken from her. So now she's just on a path of brutality. Allie is dead and moved on to the new multiverse version in AEW. And Su Yung will forever be the one that killed the bunny.
It just floors me how that there's like a multiverse.
Oh, the multiverse is so great.
Each promotion. That's a classic.
The multiverse is amazing. But yeah, so that's what those chants came from is
you killed Allie.
You killed Allie because Bunny is dead.
And is it James Mitchell who came up with this Dark Realm? Or how does this start?
The James Mitchell kind of got added in because Rosemary has been doing the Demon Assassin angle for years now.
Okay.
And the multiverse is on like season 5 or 6 now on YouTube. So they've been going they've been going a long time with this.
Oh my gosh.
So it was mainly just due to Impact not wanting to re-sign Allie, which was one of their biggest mistakes in my opinion, letting her go. because she is such a great talent as far as like the storytelling side of things go. And AEW was quick to pick her up and move her into their women's division. So they had to write her off of Impact TV, and this was they didn't want to leave the story hanging.
Yeah.
So this was their way of completing the story, was the bunny had to die, because if they saved the bunny, why would Allie leave Rosemary?
That's fair.
There was no reason that she would ever leave Rosemary's side willingly at that point. So
could have just had dinner with Rosemary and just said, not going to work out.
Yeah, well, no.
No?
This worked better. It was a good story. It made me cry. It was heartfelt and touching. But so back to this match though, which had nothing to do with Allie, but she got chanted a lot during the match. Shaz is a newer talent for me because she's done most of her work in Australia. So I haven't seen a ton of her yet. This is her first US tour currently going on now. She came for the Rise Legendary pay-per-view that was a week ago last Friday, I believe. A week from last Friday, yeah. Like 2 weeks ago now.
Okay.
And that was my first time really seeing her in action past like YouTube clips and stuff like that. So this is only my third match of hers I've seen since then.
Yeah, I haven't seen Shaz at all.
Yeah. But she did good. I don't think Su Yung was the best opponent for her just because of the difference in their styles. I felt like they were having a little bit of trouble finding rhythm.
It felt a little off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like Su Yung was focused a lot more on her mannerisms than anything else. And obviously the chants kind of distracted a bit too as well. So I didn't get the best sense of what she could do. Obviously, what you explained is pretty compelling. I just never saw it myself. But, you know, it is what it is. And Mackenzie seems like she's fine. Seems a little green.
Yeah, she's definitely newer on the scene for sure. I know that. And just starting to climb up the rungs. I mean, it's a good look for Shazza to be in with Su Yung, given that she is newer to the scene as a whole. To be put in there with Su Yung, who's definitely a veteran of women's wrestling from Impact and Shimmer and things like that. If we have time this weekend, I'll definitely show you at least the Shine main event from their last show, which was Evilise, Mercedes Martinez, Su Yung, and Priscilla Kelly in a four-way dance.
Okay.
And that shows off Su Yung in all of her glory. Of craziness.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like if she's in the middle, like that's kind of storyline you're talking about, she can definitely show her stuff there. This is just one of those one-offs because it's WrestleMania weekend. Yeah, you know, just doing a favor, whatever the case may be. Yeah,
and she's a crowd favorite, so she got a big pop and everything for sure when she came out.
All right.
I think the Shazza won that with the stunner off the top rope, if I remember correctly.
That's what I remember.
Which was a very cool move. It was a cool spot.
Yeah, finish was good. Yeah.
That was a cool spot to close that one out on. But nothing super to write home on that. Then we went to the Tag Team Championship match. The OGs, Mercedes Martinez and Cheerleader Melissa, versus Twisted Sisters, Thunder Rosa and Holidead.
This was definitely... it wasn't for the match that comes after this there. This was definitely going to be the match of the day for me. Mercedes is another one I know from the past two Mae Young Classics.
Yes.
So I know she played her part well to bring up a lot of the talents that was going to win the Mae Young Classic eventually. So, and I knew some of her indie work on the scene as well. So, I was when I heard that she was going to be there, I definitely knew it was going to be in for something. I didn't know anything about Cheerleader Melissa. I didn't know they were also heels.
They are very much heels.
Yep, they definitely showed all the mannerisms of cheating and all that.
Yep, and Mercedes very good. As much as people love Mercedes, I've always liked that about her is she can get a huge pop coming out, but by halfway through the match, you hate her again.
Yeah,
is you're excited to see her, but then she makes you hate her in the match by how she acts.
It's like it feels similar to, not to switch it to a different promotion, but NXT with Undisputed Era.
Yes,
like as soon as their music hits,
everybody cheers.
They cheer them to death. But then, as a tag team, they come in the ring and they do all the classic old school things of distracting the ref, pulling the guy back,
choking him in the corner.
Yeah, so this is what Mercedes and Melissa were doing to the T there, and they're just great wrestlers altogether as well. Twisted Sisters were my first introduction to, and I thought they were pretty great.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun to watch. They have a really interesting moveset that they do with a lot of stuff together. Which I like a lot in tag team, is a lot of their arsenal in their tag matches is them working together and doing things and Holly Dead kind of being the brawn and throwing Thunder Rosa around and on top of people.
Right.
There was a really cool spot where they kind of jumped off the top and she kind of caught and kind of pogo boarded her up and dropped her across on an elbow. I remember that one sticking out. A lot of really cool just teamwork stuff that they did. And this is why I always get so upset when we review WWE tag team stuff on the channel, is because I watch matches like this where they're doing all this really intricate, really awesome tag team teamwork stuff, and then you get to there and you're having Bayley and Sasha miscommunicate a double drop kick and just staring at each other in the ring. It makes me sad.
Not a lot of bossing and not a lot of hugging.
Nope, not a lot of boss. There was no bossing and hugging when Mercedes Martinez is in the ring. There's lots of bossing, not much hugging though.
Yeah, that's about right. Not so much the Twister Sisters either. I don't think they do either. I think they just throw their bodies at everybody.
Yeah. The only downside was, I think I would have liked a bit of a cleaner finish than the ref distraction on the belt. Because it did feel a little awkward how they got there. There was I think they could have transitioned it better and had a better cheating spot than Mercedes kind of just rolling in and holding up 2 belts and dropping one.
That was a little weird at first.
It was a weird transition.
I thought it was going to be one of those, I'm going to throw the belt one way and then distract the ref with the other.
Yeah, or clock her and then throw it out kind of thing, because the ref wasn't looking when she first slid in the ring.
Yeah.
And I was expecting her just to kind of clock. I think it was Holly did in the ring at that time, and then they roll her up that way. It was a weird way to get to the dropping her on a belt finish.
Right.
So that was a little off to me at the end there, but that was the only real downside to the match, was I just kind of felt the transition from Mercedes getting knocked out of the ring to when she got back in the ring was a bit weird for the distraction. Yeah. Especially if they had so many other better distractions throughout the night.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I didn't feel there was too much, which is why I think if they did this like every single match, like WWE tends to do with a lot of their shows, then it would get definitely tiring here. I think they spread it out enough that having a distraction, even in a tag team match, which can make sense with a ref trying to manage 4 different people.
Yeah. I was fine with the distraction win. I just didn't like the distraction itself they used.
The execution.
Yeah, I felt like they could have executed that a bit cleaner to make it make more sense to get to where they wanted to get to.
I can see that.
That was my only real kind of on that match. Everything else in the match was beautiful. I even noticed when I was taking pictures, I kind of stopped like halfway through this match because I was just enjoying the match so much.
That's one thing I should say too. Yeah, I was like, I wanted to get this experience because again, it's my first Shimmer show, so I had my phone out and trying to take pictures and videos as much as I can. But then as we start getting into this, and especially the next match, I was like, I didn't even bother.
Yeah. So. No, I definitely found that my picture taking was very much heavier in the first half of the show than the second half at times, just because I got so enthralled in some of these matches. And really, I mean, what was cool to me as a fan of the promotion is pretty much everybody I like from there was in at least one match here.
Yeah.
And in a couple cases, as we get to later, it's people I like at both ends. Like in the Scramble, I love Shotzi and I love Brandy. And they were both in the match. It's like, who do I supposed to root for here? So I had a lot of moments like that where I was like, I'm cheering one while they're hurting somebody else I want to cheer for. And I'm like, I hate when this happens. But yeah, to go into the next match, so that one was, it was Britt Baker's last Shimmer match. And she was kind of doing a continuation of her Tessa Blanchard rivalry. I think this is like I want to say 6th or 7th time they've clashed over the years.
Did they fight an All In as well? Were they part of that multi-woman match?
They may have been. I don't remember the All In card though all that well offhand.
Because that would be the only time I remember Britt Baker. Blanchard, of course, I've seen many times.
Yeah.
Impact.
Because I know Baker was on All In. I don't fully remember her role there though. It's been a bit since I've watched that one.
I mean, I think that was the only women's match at All In, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think so.
So it would make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, neither here or there. It's just something from my memory.
The cool thing is, Britt didn't get to show off her kicks as much, but usually she has some pretty stiff strikes in a lot of her matches on the kicks, and we got a little bit of that today. We got a lot of the normal stiff Tessa shots to the back with her forearms when she clubs and stuff that just rang through the arena.
I mean, what else do we expect from Blanchard?
Yeah, I mean,
my God.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say this: the move that I kind of took my breath away when she was at the top rope and she kind of did the, kind of the back flop.
Oh yeah, the
onto
Santon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and like she came out hard on Baker, and I really thought like her ribs were crushed.
Yeah,
she wasn't moving for a while.
It took her a bit to get up from that one, and the ref was definitely slowing the pace down there for a little bit. Even when she got up, she was kind of you could see her holding it and kind of getting her bearings back in place after that one.
Yeah, I mean, if it was a sell job, it was a very good sell job.
Yeah,
I mean, I just remember seeing that, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, no, this was a very stiff match. There were lots of hard hits, which definitely played into the tension and the feud between the two of them.
Yeah,
because they've been going back and forth for a while over everybody. Kind of Tessa just has to prove herself all the time because she feels like she deserves it because of her lineage, and Britt's always kind of been the up and coming star alongside her. That kind of just stumbled her way into the business, in Tessa's opinion.
It is interesting. I don't know this. Do you know if WWE's expressed interested in Blanchard at some point?
The rumor has it that I have heard was she was around the backstage for the Mayline Classic at one of them,
right?
But they didn't like her attitude in the back.
Oh,
so they've passed that was a hard pass for them at that time on her. Which, given when the Mayline Classics were, I'm kind of happy because she's developed into such a better wrestler since then.
Yeah,
and she has, between Impact and what she's doing in WoW on Access TV, where she's their champion, and the head trainer at their school they have there, or one of the head trainers at the school they have set up for the WoW TV show, she has come a long way in how good she is.
Yeah.
And I don't think she would have blossomed that way, because I feel like if she had gotten picked up by the WWE then, she just would have become Charlotte's lackey and kind of fallen into the same role her father was in the Four Horsemen of a Flair and a Blanchard.
Yeah, I mean, there's ways to do that. I mean, obviously the Four Horsewomen came up through NXT there, and then they splintered when they got to the main roster.
Yeah, but I feel like they would have wanted to keep them together more just because of the legacy aspect.
Yeah, which I'm not going to fault them for it.
No, I'm not going to fault them for it, but I think that would have hurt Tessa more than it would have hurt Charlotte.
I can see, because it's a hard sell there, because
Tully Blanchard's not as big as Ric Flair.
It's not as big as Ric Flair, exactly, 100%. So I could see why they would want to attach it to, not the fact that she's Charlotte Flair,
right?
That she has Ric Flair's daughter, but she is building a legacy on her own too.
Yeah.
So they're gonna take advantage of that as much as they can if she was to be on the roster.
Yeah, but I feel like going out on her own here, she's really elevated the Blanchard name.
Yeah.
To being a headlining name, much more than her father did.
Yeah.
And then she's also her stepfather, I believe, is T.A. Magnum.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, she's coming from good wrestling as far as a family of wrestling goes. I mean,
that is pretty good.
That's a good grouping right there.
Yeah. Oh, it's cool. I mean, she definitely shows she's got a chip on her shoulder.
Oh yeah, she plays the angry chip on her shoulder, intensely getting crazier as the match goes on when she's not getting things her way. She does.
It's shown. I mean,
her facial expressions are great for that.
Yeah, I mean, that match of Baker just got more intense as time goes on. And I couldn't believe some of those moves they were kicking out. I thought they'd be finishers.
Even the DDT that they both did do their finishers, because she had her in I forget what Blanchard calls it, but her stretch at one point.
Yeah,
and she got out, and then Baker hit the Magnum, I think she calls it, that she does at one point too. And they both got to that, but the DDT that they finished on was pretty brutal too, that Tessa gave to Britt to end that match. Was a pretty vicious looking DDT. Is
that the one where she like hooked her arms or something?
Yeah, like that kind of like the not a fisherman hook one. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Buzzsaw DDT, I think.
Okay, yeah, that's
kind of that style.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just looked vicious, but she makes all her moves look vicious. I mean, I'm actually excited in next Impact, or one of the upcoming Impacts, is she's doing a match with Gail Kim.
Oh,
Gail Kim.
This is telling you how touch I am. And says I didn't even know Gail Kim was still wrestling.
Well, she hadn't been wrestling. She'd been working as like an on-air office role for Impact. And Tessa's disrespect had gotten too far, and Gail Kim came out a couple weeks ago and basically kicked her in the face for it. And then Tessa threw this whole hissy fit that the office was attacking workers, and that how can they keep her employed as an office person if
she's trying to come back.
Yeah, so she demanded an apology from Gail Kim if they wanted Tessa to stay in the company. So Gail came out and gave this sarcastic apology and then basically booked a match against each other.
I gotta try to catch that one there. I haven't had interaction with Gail Kim since Awesome Kong days.
It's been a while.
That tells you how much.
Yeah, so that should be an awesome match that I'm looking forward to as well coming out of there. And then Britt Baker's got a ton of great matchups in AEW.
And this was her officially last match in Shimmer,
yep.
Right? Before she jumps to AEW?
Yeah, before she jumps to AEW.
Be awesome.
To finish it up. Yeah, so I was curious if they were going to do anything more with the AEW stuff. There was an AEW chant that did break out at the...
towards the end of the match.
Before the end of the match, yeah. For Britt as she was leaving. Which seems to be happening at all the shows I've noticed, because at Rise, they did the same thing with Kelly Ray. There was some AEW chants. But in that one, actually, all of AEW showed up, which actually ties into this next match here, so I'll talk about it with you since you missed it. Is what happened was that was at their Rise Legendary, where they had a Royal Rumble to determine the #1 contender for the title in that promotion. Zoe Lucas won that. And then she cashed in at the end of the night after Mercedes Martinez and Kelly Ray had this brutal no-rope submission match. That was just...
No ropes. That still boggles me.
Yeah, well, there was an awesome spot where Kelly Ray had Mercedes Martinez wrapped around a corner post in a crossface while she was standing on the outside and Martinez was laying in the ring.
Oh, so the posts were still there.
The posts were there. There's just no ropes. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So the ring was still standing and still up there. It's just there was no ropes to keep you in the ring if you...
Oh, dear God.
Yeah. So it was just this brutal match. And then Zoe, as Kylie was celebrating because she's going to AEW as well, so this was her last Rise match and she became the champion, which made things like, well, what are you going to do with the championship belts on somebody that can't compete here anymore? So Zoe comes down and goes, I can cash in whenever I want, and I'm cashing in now. And basically does her little heel kick to the face and just pins her because she just had this brutal match. So there's nothing left. So then Zoe grabs the mic and goes, do you know what just happened? I just beat the Elite. And her little Nation crew, who she tags with here, the Stephanie Gilmore, Charlie Evans, and Jessica Troy, they all run out and they start beating down Kylie Ray. Well, all of the AEW women then show up at the event and come down and clear house.
Oh.
So I was curious if they were going to do any more tie-ins, because there was some other... I know there's other AEW talent in the area for Mania weekend doing shows.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if they were going to pull a surprise out in the Britt Baker Tessa thing, if Tessa went too far or something like that in the match, like Tessa's prone to do. Have one of them or a couple of them come out and make the save kind of thing and get the big AEW pop.
Yeah.
On the Shimmer taping.
Very cool.
Yeah, like so that was a cool spot where AEW was kind of working with the other promotions to help build their story, and it really built Zoe too up a lot for Rise, as well as their champion being seen going toe to toe with the cream of the crop from Elite, because you had Britt Baker come out, you had Randy Rhodes walk down there, you had Nyla Rose there, you had Kelly Ray there, and then Penelope Ford showed up at one point too then, and Allie, so they had all the AE women there, all basically came to run her and her team off. So it really gave a lot of clout to Zoe Lucas's new nation that she's building over there.
Okay. I mean, it's nice that they're still playing nice.
Yeah, it was a cool rub and everything for the younger talent that they put over for that on their way out. That was cool. I like that they were game for putting over the younger talent, it seemed. And the promotions that they basically stripped a lot of the bigger talent out of. They were putting back some in to help build up the next generations of those promotions wouldn't feel it as much.
Yeah, I mean it's the nature of the world when you're down to a monopoly that's trying to kick you out of different areas that we know very well, especially when WrestleMania weekend is around. I think it's a natural tendency of the smaller second to whatever place promotions to get together and try to help each other out to stay alive. Sure. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. So then that brought us to the 8-woman tag match, which was Chris Wolf's official retirement match from Shimmer, if I remember correctly, on her retirement tour that she has done after this one. So you had Chris Wolf and Solo Darling teaming up with the Sea Stars on one side, and then you had the New Nation, which is Charlie Evans, Jessica Troy, Steph D. Lander. I'm sure it sounds a whole lot nicer when she says it in Italian than when I butcher it that way.
De Lander.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, thank you. And Zoe Lucas, who is one of my all-time favorites as of now. She has quickly grown on me, and I am quite the fan of hers.
The British snob.
The British snob.
Figures.
I mean, it kind of all works. I mean, I'm a Zoe Lucas fan. I like Brandy Lauren. I like AK. It's kind of a trend here of that posh and pompous.
All the snobs,
yeah,
and first class ladies.
For whatever reason, those are the people I tend to end up going for at times.
It just tells me you're a glutton for punishment.
Probably. Good chance of that. My history speaks to that as well. So I mean, so this one was. I mean, it's an 8-woman tag match, so order is not on the menu. It's all pretty much just chaos.
Yeah.
Going from
they're like the scramble kind of.
Yeah.
Only through tag.
Yeah. But it was interesting. Chris did get her Wolf Tito back though.
Yes.
Even so that
even used it to fight back.
Yes. So that was rectified at least from the last tapings where Tito was stolen. I mean, there was a lot of the beginning of the match. The Nation pretty much dominated Surf and Turf. For a good portion of it, they had poor little Ashley Vox just in their corner and beating on her.
Yeah.
The spot that stands out the most to me is the line of fish hooks.
Yes, indeed. Including like I said, even Tito got involved.
Yep, they had everybody, all 8 of them were in the ring, and they just all kept fish hooking the one in front of them and had this giant fish hook line, and then it ended with them basically all getting thrown by Ashley's fish hook at the end. When she locked it in, they all basically took a hip toss from it.
It was really well done.
Yeah. Which is just funny because Ashley was the smallest one in the match, so it was funny that the smallest one's fish hook when she locked it in was the one that sent everything over the top.
Was she the smallest one? I figured that was Wolf.
Yeah, Wolf might be shorter than her.
Okay.
I'm used to Ashley being the smallest in the ring.
I mean, she looked like a teenager to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I'm like...
Yeah, Wolf might have been a little bit shorter than her.
I was like, did they legally detain her to get into this match? Are they sure they got it right?
Yeah. No, they were a small team for sure. It made Steph DeLander look much bigger, though, when she was in the ring.
Yes, that is true. She's a big person.
She towered over most of the other girls, except for Demi Exo from the Sea Stars. She was the only one that was close in height, but she was even lankier, so she still looked smaller next to Steph in there. Which they played up on a lot of the time, too, giving her a lot of the power spots and things like that, too, in the match. Needless to say, the crowd was very much behind the Surf and Turf and Chris Wolf. A thank you Chris chant did break out at the end, which was nice.
Yeah, because this is her retirement tour.
Yep, her retirement tour.
So Shimmer, she's done with, and she's going to finish up with other promotions. Yeah,
I know she's got April 18th with Eve and some other ones overseas she's doing.
How old is she? Why is that?
She's only in her 20s to early 30s.
So why is she retiring?
Bunch of injuries to her knees and legs.
That
she just feels she can't go on and compete at the level she wants to compete at.
Got it.
So she's going through and doing a last hurrah.
Yeah, I mean, I could say, as another talent that I'm new to, and what you were prepping me for, it's when a match was happening, and I see the appeal. Yeah, she clearly knows
she has personality.
She has her personality. She knows her strengths and weaknesses, being the height. Yeah, she is, but so she knows she's gonna have to go more by her character, her personality, than anything else there. Like obviously, if she's like being held by one of the enemies and doing drop kicks on 3 other people, it's clearly staging it up for her. Yeah, because we know in real life she would not be able to do that. But no, she was funny. Like the fish hook angle was pretty fun. I died at the part where it looked like she was gonna do the dive through the ropes. Yeah, with everybody there, and they were like teeing her on to do it. And then as she got to the ropes, she just held on to it, grabbed Tito, and and then they all did a little DX the DX thing at the end. And I'm like, this is great. No, she's just a ball of personality, which is what makes her matches so fun. She's like watching a little anime character come to life. Yeah. No, you're not far off. Is very much costume and all. Yeah, that's how I would describe her to somebody. If somebody asked me to describe Chris Wolf, anime character come to life. Yeah, is the best. And the Sea Stars are a lot of fun too. I kind of was sad that they were in this 8-person tag because I think you would have really enjoyed them as a tag team, where some of that gets lost in the 8-woman tag matches. Yeah. But they're a really good tag team when they get to just be a tag team together. I mean, this is the trend we're going to see most of the weekend here. Yeah, everyone is trying to get their spot in because it's a big weekend in wrestling. Yeah, both indie and for the main show on Sunday. So yeah, another time. Yep. But because I mean, we saw that off of they did get some of their double team stuff in the corner where Ashley goes up top
they hold her up and she kind of flips over and onto them and stuff like that. So we got to see some of the double team stuff, but this is largely a lot of just the heel team of the nation kind of just ganging up on the smaller competitors, and then when all the havoc broke loose, kind of getting beat down by the good guys for the feel good win at the end for Chris.
Yeah, no, it was fun. Yeah, it was just a fun match.
No, it was definitely a fun match.
Yeah, I think another, much like the Scramble, it was all about the character personality. Even like Zoe is the British one with the blue attire. Yeah, I enjoyed her character work, playing to the crowd, and
every time the crowd would start clapping to get the face up, she'd turn around and yell at us. That's not gonna do anything.
Yeah,
that doesn't actually help.
Many times, even in the beginning, like the tag team was doing their introduction, she sits on her lap. I'm like, this is the character I know that's gonna show a lot of the charisma. Personality on the bad guy side.
She's very much the princess one. She sits on the top rope while everybody else is getting introduced and stuff like that. Which that was mine. There was a cool spot where they had Charlie Evans in the rope, and in kind of like a mock pose of it, they had two boots holding her face in, and all the faces were kind of had her in a submission between the ropes. And kind of a mock of their pose that they do. It was
like a say cheese moment.
Yeah. So that was a very cool a moment as well in this match. But this was definitely much more of a spot moment, as most 8-person tag team matches are, where there was a lot of just kind of filler work to tie it all together.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty clear this was all for Chris Wolf at the end of the day. Building up you to get her in the ring and get Tito back and everything, and more of the greatest hits of the team that were there, and then they had the closing moment of her getting the win. Ultimately before they sent her off. So it's cool with me.
No, it was definitely a good feel-good match. Definitely a good one to go out with. For Chris Wolf, I felt from Shimmer, it was a nice ode to all of her high spots and personality for sure. It'd be sad when the tour ends and Amanda shares this is my second show of hers for retirement now. Because she did Rise for theirs, which was an awesome one. I'll have to show you that one because it's hysterical. It was Chris Wolf and her meat friends versus Sue Young and her undead brides. But one of the undead brides was Kimberly, who's a very adamant vegan. So there was a spot where she poured Brussels sprouts in the ring and then suplexed them at the top rope onto the Brussels sprouts instead of thumbtacks.
Oh my gosh.
And there's another spot where she's gouging somebody's eye with a carrot, and then Chris Wolf comes behind with this giant sausage link and starts choking the vegan with the sausage link. And it was the first time I ever tweeted out that the Kimberly was being choked out by a sausage. That was an interesting, so that's another just really fun match to that on her retirement tour. But the Chris Wolf feel-good moment led into our main event for the Heart of Shimmer Championship between the current champion and member of the Hive, Dust, and Samantha Heights, where Rosemary was banned from ringside, so there could be no shenanigans from the Shadow Realm to keep Dust in power.
Now, what you explained to me earlier after the show ended is that this Heart of Shimmer title was kind of like the Intercontinental title of Shimmer.
It's more of like the up-and-coming kind of talent belt. Like, this is the future talent.
Gotcha.
I mean, you could almost, in a lot of ways, the Heart of Shimmer tends to be the more important title in the fans' eyes, because it tends to be that new hot talent kind of coming up that's exciting to watch.
Almost like the workers belt.
Yeah.
Like, you knew, like, in WWE, it was like Randy Savage or Ricky Steamboat.
Right.
What are guys you got excited for? Because they could work. And get you excited to say these guys could be world champs at some point.
This is your future Shimmer Championship division kind of thing, where these are the girls to watch that are going to have big things coming in the future.
Yeah.
And this one was very much a... Samantha Heights has always kind of been that... She reminds me a bit of Bayley in ways, not in like the hugger aspect, but in the wrestler that is just wants to go out there, wants to have fun, wants to put on a good show, and just works really hard for it, and is just gonna have a good time with it. This is kind of her coming of age, almost, for lack of a better term, moment in Shimmer for her. Where last year I think she's only been in Shimmer for like a year now, since she got moved up to like kind of competing on their bigger shows from like the Rise and Shine level. So this was like a year in the making of her kind of climbing up to prove she belongs here. And then Dust has been having a huge year since hooking up with Rosemary and the Hive. Her and I can't think of her name in Paradise Lost were the Guardians of Rise tag team champions up until this last pay-per-view where they just lost them. And they've just been on a tear as a little kind of darker themed stable in the Shimmer and Rise universe going around. And Dust is probably, of the Hive, I would say the best technical worker of the four, where her tag team partner is just the big bruiser, and Rosemary is much more of the psychology, mind game aspect of it. And Delilah Doom is much more kind of like their high flyer bump taker, where Dust is, I mean, Dust does definitely take bumps off top ropes and stuff as she showed today. But she's by far probably the most technically sound, I'd say, of the four of them.
Yeah. No, that's what I got the sense of that. Dust was very, very methodical and particular about breaking down your opponents. Yeah. Whereas Samantha Heights was the high flyer.
The high flyer, just the energy, just going to have fun and throw everything out there and leave it in the ring.
Which I guess is why it got pretty brutal in the beginning there, because I mean, in a good way. I mean, hopefully they're okay.
Yeah,
they were tossing each other against the fences. Even one time throwing them over.
Yeah, Dust went flying over, and then Samantha was quick to follow and smash her through about 3 rows of seats, it looked like.
Yeah. And it was a point where they were slow to get up a little bit. I think Dust did like the knee drop, kind of like Sasha Banks does, onto the face, onto the floor.
They were on the outside, and Dust stood on the guardrail. And she jumped across and hit that, but they kind of stumbled and looked like they were going down funny.
And I couldn't even tell because it was just a giant thud.
Yeah, you couldn't see the landing. You just saw them go down and just heard it. And it was just like,
ooh. Okay, I know there's padding there.
Yeah,
but I don't know, somewhere in the dark of your mind, you're like, maybe not.
Yeah. There's not that much padding.
No.
But that was definitely a brutal spot. And coming up from a Dust's mouth was bleeding some, it looked like, too.
Yes, that wasn't me.
She definitely looked like she had some blood coming there that she kept checking at times.
Yeah.
But not a huge amount of it. But that was quite a very brutal match. Like they went all out for that match. And even the big double stomp from the top rope that Dust went for.
Mm-hmm. Very Finn Balor-like.
Yeah, and I mean, there was no way to pad that hit because I mean.
I don't know how anybody who does that, Balor or her, their opponents can breathe after that.
Yeah, because I mean, the way it was they were in the corner and Samantha was kind of hung up on the tree of woe and was holding onto the second rope trying to pull herself up to Dust, and Dust just went up and down on her, and they both just crashed to the ground.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's still kicked out.
Yep. And there's a few. I like the sequence too in the corner where with the knees from Samantha to Dust that eventually rolled her out of the ring.
Right.
Of just running in and just breaking her down turnbuckle by turnbuckle as she kind of slumped in the corner.
Yeah, just go back and forth, take her down piece by piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they laid out a good plan. It definitely seemed like they knew each other well. I'm assuming they've had similar matches in the past somewhere in the indie circuit.
Probably somewhere in the indie circuit. Not off the top of my head, I can't think of any crossings between them.
Well, I was reading a review beforehand. It seemed like there was a match recently in Shimmer that they may have had.
Okay.
Talking about some of that. I don't know if it was televised or not. But that's kind of the sense I got from that, which for a closing match that you're calling the main events, probably very crucial.
The two of them definitely had good chemistry and definitely a good feel for each other too, which definitely added to that for closing the show out. Mm-hmm. Especially following up the feel-good moment of Chris Wolf and that great tag team match and the Tessa match before you had to come out and tear the house down. They definitely did that. Because there were so many matches that could steal the show on this that they had to work extra hard being in that main event slot to have earned it. I think they definitely pulled the stops out to make sure that they were the ones that got it.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, really well put together match. I think, and then, Heights obviously pulled out the win at the end to win the belts.
So it's a new champ.
Definitely well deserved.
Which got the crowd was all chanting new champ when Dust came out, so they were looking forward to that. Samantha Heights has definitely won the crowd over in her time in Shimmer. And Dust and the Hive as a whole has done a very good job of making the crowd hate them.
Important.
Yep.
Have a good proper heel.
Which is the good thing I like in Shimmer is they still very much have those heels and faces. And I think it adds a lot to the shows because the crowd gets to know and they respond appropriately. Because I feel like that's the problem that WWE has a lot of the time is they try to ignore the fact that you need a good guy and a bad guy to tell a story.
Yeah.
And so the fans don't always respect what your role is. But a lot of the time, somebody that should be considered the bad person in the storyline will get cheered, and it kind of takes away from the match. Where I feel like the Shimmer crowd's always been very good at, even if they love you, if they're supposed to boo you, they boo you because it becomes part. Because it's part. They know that's their role in the story.
I think one of the things about promote. I mean, just going back to my history. Obviously, I've watched wrestling for at least over 30 years at this point. Like the smaller you are as the promotion, I mean, obviously we were a crowd of like 500 people.
Yeah,
I would say is probably the size of today's event. You tend to want to listen to the fans more and interact more because they're definitely the ones as a small promotion that you would definitely want to listen to. Yeah, to make sure you can get more fans to come back and bring more. Whereas, I'm not saying this is 100% of the time. When you start getting big on the level of a WWE or even like a WCW back at the time. Now it becomes more about, well, we've made it big. Right. And we've got the people in the ballgame we have. Let's just continue to ride these guys. Yeah. And ignore these 50 other talents we have that should be up there at some point in the next 10 years because these guys aren't going to stay at the top forever. Yeah. You know? So I hope for Shimmer's sake, I mean, I don't know what their plans are. They're just going to continue to be who they are or grow any further than that. But, I think staying in tune with the fans as they are, which again seems to be the case just from my experience on the show. No. You obviously have more history and knowledge of the show than I do in terms of the story beats and the way the direction's going. But I think as long as they're staying in tune with that, they should be fine. Yeah, I think they stay in tune with it, but I think it's also it's very what I've noticed about Shimmer is very similar to ECW in a sense, in that the crowd is part of the show. Yeah, and the crowd knows its part and it plays its part. So just because you're getting booed doesn't mean we don't like you. It just means we know that's our part in the story to enhance the match as we boo you to rile you up. It's not the X-Pac heat, as they call it. Right. And I feel like that gets lost on a lot of times in the bigger promotions is the fans don't always know their job on how to add to a match like that, I feel like Shimmer's found a really good balance of being able to have the fans be excited, but at the same time the fans still play their part correctly and boo the heels, cheer the faces, and that gives the wrestlers a lot to work off of. Yeah. Because I think it's harder for the bad guys to be a bad guy when they're getting cheered, even if you like them. Yeah. Yeah. So I think, because like even that tag match would be less effective if we weren't booing Mercedes when she was doing bad things. If everybody was still like, yeah, Mercedes, it would take away from that match. Well, that was the point you and I were talking offline earlier about Mercedes, that, I mean, she's got a history reputation that people respect. And then, they clearly were cheering for her when she came into the match, but the mannerisms of a heel, she immediately played into it, and the fans just sucked it in. Yeah, and went right with it that this is a bad person right now, so we need to let her know she's a bad person right now. Yep. Yeah, I mean, this was a great show. It didn't have quite as much story built into it as Shimmer usually does, but I think a lot of that was just because this was more of a showcase for WrestleMania weekend more than an actual continuation of the Shimmer stories. I think that's kind of the theme throughout the weekend with every show. Shimmer involved too there. I think they just want get everybody in because everyone's in town. Yeah, get all their best talents and just put on a great show to kind of just show off. Yeah. I'm pretty sure some of these folks, especially if they're coming overseas, I mean, I don't know what their plans look like that they can watch a show like Shimmer or whatever other US indie promotion. They're probably not going to be familiar with the stories like me. Yeah. So they just put out some great matches. Yeah, put out a great match. Get them hooked. Yep. And when they go back home, hopefully they'll come back. Right, pick up the iPay-per-views and learn the stories from there as they go. Exactly. But yeah, it was a great show. I loved it top to bottom. I'm going to say my match of the night was probably... Hurt yourself. Well, I'm torn between Tessa and Britt and Dust and Samantha at the end. Okay. Those to me were the top two matches overall as far as engagement to it. And I'm probably leaning towards Dust and Samantha just because of my history with Britt and Tessa. I've seen so many of their matches that they didn't really cover any new ground. Yeah. It was what you expect from them in my book. Because I'm familiar with their feud in history, that it wasn't like they redefined their feud in this one match. It hit all their high points that you'd expect them to hit in most of their matches. Right. And tell that story. So I'm going to go with Samantha Dust for my match of the night. What would you say yours was? Yeah, I mean, again, as someone who this first Shimmer show doesn't have a lot of the history, just really going through what you've told me. I just kind of have to. I have no choice but to go off the actual in-ring action and the storytelling.
Yeah.
Which for me, hands down, I mentioned it would have been the tag match. Like I did that there, but that would have been the match for me if it wasn't for the fact that Blanchard Baker was in that match that night. And that's one that sold me, and I think that was my match.
Their matches are amazing together.
Yeah.
But as I said, to me, the only reason that one didn't get it is because I've seen, I think, 5 out of the other 6 or whatever it is. Like I know I'm only missing like 1 or 2 of their feud, so it didn't hit any new notes for me that I hadn't seen from that pair before. Not to take anything away from it, of course, it was a great match, and I was fully engaged and enthralled in it. But it was just when you've seen a match before, if they don't bring something new to it, it's hard for me to say that was my favorite of the night because it was something I've seen before.
Yeah.
But if you haven't, go check it out. It's on Fight TV. It's on WWN Live. Support Shimmer. Throw some money at them. It's only like $15 for it, so it's not going to break your bank.
You can still get a slice of pizza.
Exactly. Hey. And WrestleMania is free this month, so you don't need the money for the network. Just
you don't.
Just cancel and start a new subscription. You get it free for the month.
That's harsh to say when there's NXT too.
Yep. You can get that free this month too. Cancel your subscription and restart under a new email address for free.
Oh, okay. Sure.
And you get a free month. Go give your money to people that need it, like Shimmer. But speaking of NXT, let's talk predictions. We've got the one women's match tonight. 4-way dance. Bianca Belair, Io Shirai, Kairi Sane, and the defending and reigning women's champion, Shayna Baszler. So this will be, I think this is going to be a good match. I don't know if it's going to be a great match, but I think it's going to be a very strong and solid match. My biggest fear is just the meshing of styles. In a 4-way dance like this, is Shayna's so ground and pound submission based, and Io and Kairi are so versatile in their high flying, high spots, athletic stuff, and Bianca either does a really great match or she has a really green match still.
Right.
I'm hoping it's a great match because this would be a really bad time to have any for green matches.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have one. So that's my only concern going into this, is just the meshing of these 4 styles. I'm worried that they might try to do too much or go too far outside each other's comfort zones at times.
Right.
To really make a 4-way dance flow, because 4-way dances are hard to get to make seem coherent anyway on their own.
True. Although I think as anybody who handles it well is WWE.
Yeah.
Like for all their problems with storytelling in these multi-man matches, like they just get him in there just to get him in there.
Yeah.
When the match actually happens, it actually does turn out pretty good. Well, I think the wild card, as you said, is going to be Belair, Bianca, because her match at TakeOver Phoenix against Baszler really showed how green she was.
Yeah.
As hard as she tried,
it
just didn't come out as effective as I thought it would be.
Yeah. And she's gotten better since then, but I don't know if she's gotten to the carry the women's division level yet.
No.
And which kind of has me in an interesting spot for my predictions for this one. Because I kind of feel like depending on who wins is going to tell us a lot about A, WrestleMania, and B, the future of the women's division in NXT. Because I feel like any 4 could technically win based on what the plans are set up for after this. Because you have Shayna, who I can see rumors going to the main roster to replace Rousey when Rousey potentially leaves after WrestleMania. But if Rousey's not leaving, I don't see them calling Shayna up, because then Shayna's going to upstage her without even trying. Because Shayna's literally what Ronda would be if Ronda had talent in any avenue of the sport.
Yeah.
Because Shayna's the better wrestler, she's the better promo, she's the better storyteller. Like, everything you want to check off, Shayna has that box. And Ronda doesn't check a single box other than people know her name.
Yeah.
So I don't see them wanting to put them on the card at the same time because they're so similar. It's going to be a natural comparison. And it's a comparison that Ronda's going to lose. And I don't think they want to expose Ronda any more than they've already exposed her to how bad she is. Because she's been thoroughly exposed by Becky.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I feel like the WrestleMania match, which we'll talk about later, is going to thoroughly expose her more. And I don't think they're going to want to put Shayna next to her to expose her. So I feel like if Ronda's staying, Shayna's not getting the call up. But do you want to keep the belt on Shayna then? Or if you take it off, what do you do with Shayna?
Yeah. Yeah, this whole this whole pay-per-view, I mean, I know we're only talking about the women's matches. It's like full of a lot of unknowns for me.
Yeah.
But this one is going to be telling. If definitely, obviously, if Baszler wins,
we know Ronda's staying around longer, probably.
But if Shayna Baszler's losing, then we know Ronda's gone.
Most likely,
because
or they're just doing something stupid, or they just feel like it's time for somebody else. But then what do you do with Baszler?
Well, that's the
problem. I don't know where else you put her.
Well, this is the thing right now. So like, you got the 4 women are fighting tonight. Below them, who do you have? I mean, Candice LeRae, I know, is there, but they've been keeping her more as Johnny Gargano's wife than Candice LeRae. So that's a problem. They need to build her up, and that's just going to take time.
Yeah, that's going to take time. I mean, once she gets going, she'll steamroll because she's just amazing.
Yeah.
But it's getting her there to get going, which is the problem.
But then I can't think of anyone else, because then after that, so I know pretty much for a fact that Kairi Sane is not winning.
Yeah.
But she's already won the belts, and I think she's... I do because she's a pirate. Haha. She probably would be up in the main roster too. If not now, then maybe after SummerSlam or something. I don't know.
But we're going to pause there for a second. My battery's about to die because I didn't plug it in. We're back. Start recording again now. But yes, I don't... So yeah, you have the Sky Pirates then.
Yeah, I don't think Sane's going to get the belt back. I just don't think it's going to happen. It's very rare of a 2-time champ in NXT, especially the way they keep calling guys up to the main roster.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're going to give it to if they're going to take it off Baszler, it would make sense to be Belair. But again, it goes to our point that I just don't think she's ready to carry it.
Yeah, I don't know if she would be seen as a champion level champion.
Yeah.
That I know she has a big following and a big fan base. Like, people love her because she's got that personality that a lot of people love.
Yeah.
And she has the character down, but I don't know if she has the in-ring ability to support it at this point yet.
Not to carry. No, she needs someone to lead for a bit, like a Sane and like a Baszler.
Now,
I'm going to go just wild left field here and say Shirai's going to win.
I mean, Shirai was my pick too, with the only caveat that has me worried is the women's tag division is so weak. Mm-hmm. Because you have Boss and Hug, you have Iconics, you have Riot Squad, you have Fire and Desire, and you have Nia and Tamina, and that's pretty much your whole tag division, because I don't see Beth and Natalya sticking around as a long-term team, other than popping up for special things. And of those 5, Nia and Tamina can't wrestle, or cut promos, or do anything. They're just there. They botch well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's about all they do. Riot Squad's been buried by Ronda single-handedly as looking weak. I mean, they live tap out before the hole's even put in.
Can't say anything to that.
Yeah, so I mean, you have that. Fire and Desire is currently having a lover's quarrel.
Oh, Mandy and
Mandy and Sonya.
Oh, is that what they're really called? Or are you calling them that?
No, that's what their tag team name is, Fire and Desire.
Okay. Didn't.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked it better as Absolution with Paige. Then you go back to that.
Well, sure. Yeah. I mean, no Paige to do it.
Yeah,
I guess they could keep the name.
The name was better, I thought, but they have to fix that to even make them a coherent tag team again. That really just leaves you Boss and Hug and Iconics. And Boss and Hug don't really scream tag team to me because they don't have an entrance together. They don't have a double team finisher. And when they try to do tag team moves, they botch them every single time.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it was just a mistake for them to say that they would defend the title across all promotions. As much as I
like the idea of it.
The idea is nice, and I do think NXT should be its own brand at some point without being considered a minor league, which it can't be when you have folks like Gargano and Ciampa and Ricochet running the show there.
Yeah.
But I digress. I just think NXT is not ready to do that yet. That's really what it comes down to.
But I feel like the Sky Pirates would be a viable team. They could move up quickly to put into the tag division because they both have the experience in Japan from Stardom and places like that.
Yeah.
Of carrying belts and working. So they're far from green talents. The two of them, they have years of experience over there.
Yeah.
So to me, they're the two that would be the most ready to go up and kind of support that women's tag division. But I don't know if they're going to do that if Io had the women's belt.
I mean, it wouldn't have to be something long term. Like maybe Shirai wins the belt, still teams of Sane, and that becomes the next takeover match for the women's tag belts at whatever the next one is in June or something.
Yeah.
And they have something they break down from there. I know that I didn't see the last episode of NXT, but I heard there was some tease of some breakdown between Shirai and Kairi Sane.
Yeah.
So maybe you build that into that tag team match, and then at the takeover in the summer, around SummerSlam time, there's your Shirai versus Sane match.
Yeah.
Presuming Sane is still staying in NXT.
Yeah.
I haven't heard any rumors that she'd be going up too.
Right. I haven't heard any rumors of her going up either. I feel like their best chance of making it in the main roster is as a tag team. Because that's the weakest women's division, and we've seen how well Vince likes pushing people that are not Charlotte Flair or Ronda Rousey.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly Asuka.
He also doesn't care about tag teams either.
Yeah, so he's more likely to ignore the fact that they exist if they're in the tag division, which means they can have a chance of actually surviving. It's almost one of those cases of it's better if Vince forgets you exist than not be what he likes.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's where they thrive the most, because I feel like if they go up as singles wrestlers, Vince is going to go Asuka 2.0, Asuka 3.0, go, and just treat it that way.
Yeah, because you can't deal with someone who can't speak English,
right?
Really,
or if you're all the same nationality, you must all be friends.
Apparently,
and form a stable that they can call like the Sushi House or something awful like that with Vince's naming
and then
conventions.
use another American propaganda agenda that he likes to do.
Exactly.
Whenever there's an international talent,
they can go back to the one they wanted to do for the other guy that came up. What's his name? Start with an H. Hishima. I forget his name now off the top of my head. But he was supposed to be before they did he did the dumb American patriotism thing. They had him all dressed up in Uncle Sam and waving flags and everything.
And this was NXT?
And when he came to the main roster.
Oh.
But their original gimmick anyway for him was a disgraced like World War II Japanese kamikaze pilots like Gator or something like that coming back to avenge from like World War II type politics stuff.
Why am I blanking on this?
Yeah. I can't think of his name.
This was recent?
Not super recent, but it was like the one that he was the big Japanese star before Shinsuke.
Before Shinsuke?
Yeah, before Shinsuke.
Oh, yeah, Hideo? Hatami?
Yes.
Really? That was going to be his gimmick?
They had a World War II gimmick for him.
Gosh, let the man be Kenta. God darn it. Well, now he's going to be because he's gone.
Yeah.
But geez.
Yeah, he was going back to World War II and like kamikaze pilots from Japan type stuff.
Oh, my Lord.
Because Vince is still fighting World War II, apparently.
Apparently.
Sergeant started to come back to lead the charge of Cena and Hogan.
And the Russians, too.
Yep.
When Rusev come up. So we're still doing that.
Yep. So, I mean, that's why I feel like if Io doesn't win, there's a good chance that they're going for the tag team route with it. But they might put it on Bianca just because everybody's so high on her.
Yeah, I just think, we've had... even with all the call-ups ever since the Four Horsewomen all used to be in NXT, you at least had a good steady... You had some good steady defense of the titles.
Yeah.
Going from Bayley having the belt to Asuka. I know people didn't think highly of Ember Moon's title reign, but it did end up leading to Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, I mean, Ember Moon's a good worker.
Good worker, just personality-wise, you didn't get much.
Yeah.
Whereas Baszler surprised everyone and, took that to another level.
Yeah.
With the way she works. So I feel like they've kept the consistency going there, and I just don't think Belair is at that level, at least from a work rate perspective.
No, I agree. I feel like they'd almost be better off bringing over some of their NXT UK talent for the women to balance it out, because they have a stacked women's roster on the UK side.
I mean, that would be a strong case to bring Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned that there's a rumor that she might jump to the main roster.
Yeah, but they may move her to the NXT first to kind of ease her up there.
I mean, especially since she didn't win back the belt from Toni Storm on the UK brand. I can't see why they just share that. I mean, they do it all the time with Mustache Mountain.
Yeah.
Bring them into Orlando.
Yeah.
There. Why not do the same with Ripley?
Yeah, I could see Ripley showing up there. I mean, Toni Storm would be another one that would be a strong one to move over to help bolster that women's roster down there. Kelly Ray is pretty much good to go as well.
Mm-hmm.
With her experience, she could easily probably go in there, and she's worked Impact too, so she's used to working that American style of televised wrestling.
Yep.
So, I mean, they have that, and they have Jenny over there who's got a lot of experience, Nina Samuels, Pipe and Nevin.
Well, Jenny's injured right now.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, they've started bringing in like Charlie Morgan and stuff over there too. So I mean, they have some depth to the UK roster on the women's side that they're lacking on the US side currently. So I mean, it's there. But yeah, I feel like it's going to go down to either Io or Bianca because they're the two that make the most sense. And I'm pulling for Io to win it, but I have a gut feeling that they're going to go with Bianca just because of the current crowd reactions. And I feel like Triple H wants to avoid another Asuka incident at the moment. Of building up somebody that has that pedigree only to get destroyed by Vince when they get called up. And I think he might be in the same boat as me as far as seeing that the best chance of success is building the tag division for them. So I think it might go Bianca, but I want it to go Io.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's mostly was what I think makes sense there, but obviously, you know, whatever. A lot of these plans are just they're so dependent on this match and then this night and WrestleMania. So for what the very hard to say. But I just for sure. I feel like the way they've been building Shirai, she obviously was the runner-up in the Mae Young Classic. So they clearly saw some stuff in her to keep her going, and then teaming her up with Kairi Sane. She just feels more logical right now. Just
and she has the experience of being a champion and carrying a promotion as well.
And Sane's already done the belts. Yeah, I think Baszler's done. She's done everything she can.
Yeah, I don't see much more for Baszler down there except for continually winning. I mean, the only thing I can see with Baszler is keeping her there on top and building Candice LeRae up to be the one to dethrone her,
possibly
as kind of the baby face hero of the women's locker room kind of thing.
Yeah,
climbing up it. That would be the only story I could see left for her down there is the Candice LeRae angle of dethroning the heel with the baby face.
Yeah.
So, speaking of Mania, let's do some predictions for there. The fun one, Women's Battle Royal.
Got any comments, Gary?
The Battle Royal, I feel like Mandy Rose, Sonya, and Asuka are going to cancel themselves out. As much as Asuka deserves the win, I don't think they're going to give her the win. I think her big moment was the awful intergender tag match on SmackDown, and that was Vince's version of a consolation prize. Was her getting to beat up EC3 and some other ones. What I will say about that, though, is I want more Asuka and Otis together. It was awful, but it was wonderful. And I know it's not going to go anywhere long term, but just their interactions was hysterical. Watching her, because she's a giant goofball in the segments, and Otis is a giant goofball, and they were just hysterical watching them both try to dance together for like the Carmella dance break and stuff. That the two of them were just hysterical, and it was the best part of the match was watching her facial expressions as she tried to do like the Matt Hardy delete hand signals and stuff like that, and was doing them all wrong.
Oh yeah.
It was. I want more Otis and Asuka because it was just entertaining. Probably not good for her career, but it was entertaining. So, but apparently Vince loves Heavy Machinery. So if Heavy Machinery loves Asuka, she might get a better shot at things.
Yeah, I mean you can't do any worse. She did work with James Ellsworth at one time, so
that didn't work so well for her.
Heavy Machinery is a step up.
Yeah, but so I feel like Asuka's gonna get eliminated at some point, probably by Mandy Rose, and I feel like something's gonna happen that's gonna cause Sonya to eliminate Mandy or Mandy to eliminate Sonya. Because I feel like they're intent on ruining their tag team division more and splitting up that tag team so that they can try to position them as singles competitors for the SmackDown title in the future. So I feel like they're all going to cancel themselves out. And I feel like this is going to be Lacey Evans' inauguration.
I feel like that's the only one that makes sense. They keep patting her out there to her songs down the ramp and then leaving with no explanation as to why, other than that she's pompous. Yep. So
get rid of the nasties.
So I mean, I guess this is the best. I guess you could say this in a way a consolation prize, because I know at one time there was a rumor of
she was supposed to. Yeah, it was supposed to be going to Asuka as a championship match, but then they got cold feet on if she was ring ready for that level as her first match being a WrestleMania match against Asuka.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some big shoes to fill after the Charlotte Asuka match at WrestleMania the previous year and the other matches Asuka's done.
Yeah.
But I feel like the good news is, though, is I don't know if you've heard the rumors, is that Lacey Evans coming out of Mania is feuding with Natalya. Is supposed to be getting set up.
Yeah.
And I like that because they've been doing a lot of house shows together and a lot of main events together. And they seem to have pretty good chemistry from what I've seen of the videos on YouTube that have leaked out of that. And I feel like Natalya is a good safe bet for Lacey's first feud, given that she doesn't have a history in the business. and Natalya is a good worker at putting others over. That I feel like that's a good, safe way to build Lacey up, is that Natalya can make her look good in the ring and help her get through those initial rough points.
I think it's a safe bet. She did that with Rousey for her first year. And makes sense to do with Evans.
So I feel like that's a safe feud coming out of Mania, and I feel like they can use the Battle Royal as kind of her jumping off point for that, and maybe find a way to kind of use it as her bragging about eliminating X number of nasties from the ring and telling Natalie she missed one kind of thing, and starting a feud off that way.
I think she hits all the notes that what Vince will be looking for next, because as she's got the look of it, and the looks, and she's got a Marine background that, if you're coming from the military, you've kind of got Vince's number, because he's all about that. So it's hitting all the dots and the check marks that he's looking for in an up-and-coming superstar. So it only makes sense if Lacey was the one taking it. Yeah,
that definitely seems like a good spot for her. And then the other rumor coming out of that is Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss getting a feud.
I'm down for that.
I think that would be awesome. I feel like, especially looking at some of the more risky and high flying type stuff Alexa's been doing in some of her training videos she posted.
You've seen that too, right? I was watching her Instagram, and she was like doing backflips off somebody's back. I'm like, that's really impressive. I've never seen this from you.
So I feel like that side of Alexa would work really well with Nikki Cross's style in the ring.
Yeah.
And I feel like just their personalities clashing and both of their promo skills would make for some great exchanges between the two of them.
I agree.
So with her hosting, I'm kind of hoping that they kick that off at Mania, where that could be the catalyst of the feud. Is Alexa feels like Nikki ruined her WrestleMania.
Because she's hosting, and she's creeping in on all her moments.
Yeah, and she's making a big deal out how she's the host and how she's fixing all this and booking all these matches. And then Nikki causes chaos at the show.
That's a lot of good trust if they do that, especially at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
They have Nikki involved in that kind of platform.
It'd be a great push for Nikki, and I think Nikki deserves it, and I think she could handle it.
I mean, even like when the rest of Sandy went up to SmackDown and she was left behind, I was like, okay, is this really working? How is this actually going to work without your female representative? But then they put her in the who beat down Aleister Black storyline in NXT, and like I was really surprised how well it worked.
Yeah.
So I can see them trusting her to do that if she's able to do something like that on her own.
Yeah. I'm excited about that and hope that feud comes out of Mania as well.
I think we're set saying Evans is probably
I would say Evans is probably in that Battle Royal without anything at all. I know this is all Divas talk, but Colin Joust for the men's. Saturday Night Live taking that one. That's my bet.
Lord help us all.
By eliminating Strowman himself.
What does that mean? Like Strowman secretly putting his hands down and pulling himself down as he does it?
As Colin Jost pushes from behind.
Got it. Not doing it hard enough. I got to grab the ropes.
Yeah.
And then the curtain. Okay, you're good. You won.
I feel like they're going to do something stupid like that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Gonna have their Gronkowski moment like they did a couple of years ago.
He might be getting signed too.
That's what I heard. He retired. So what you make of the wrestling, you're gonna eventually be signed one day.
This is true. So then the next women's match on the card officially is the tag team 4-way.
Nia Jax and Tamina, hands down.
Don't speak that into existence. Don't let Vince hear that. He'll get excited. Somebody's excited about them. Give him the belts.
I want that guy right now. Bring him over.
One person equals 10 billion.
And 100 billion on social media.
Yeah. They definitely need to be champs now.
So, Noah, what's your chain? Just for the record, it's a half hour till NXT here, so hopefully you're not going to rant too much.
No, I will aim to wrap us up here quick. I'm pulling for Iconics because I feel like they're the only actual tag team in the match. If I went to tag team belts, been an actual tag team. Personal preference. But at the same time, I can see the argument to keep it on Boss and Hug because they haven't been around that long. But I feel like we got the feel-good moment out of them already when they won at that chamber.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's okay to lose the belts here because you're not depriving them of a moment. And I feel like Bayley and Sasha do better when they're chasing than when they're leading as characters. I don't feel like their characters are strong front runners all the time, and that they would be stronger chasing somebody like the Iconics.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like Boston Hug will probably retain just because I don't see them trusting the Iconics enough yet.
Yeah.
Since they've jobbed them for so long that they've only now started to rebuild them.
Yeah, and I think, as this is the first iteration of the women's tag belts, that they probably do need to keep it fresh on a team that people know and trust and has that history already. So I could see almost for certain that they're going to retain at WrestleMania. But I would say probably the Iconics would be second there. I think they don't get a lot of recognition for what they've done in NXT that they're doing now. And I think that's more just not being allowed to do it than anything else. They definitely come on their own as characters, and I think if they really let them cut loose from a ring work perspective, then they'll definitely do it. I mean, obviously Nia and Tamina was a joke. What I'm saying there, on that same boat, like it should not be anywhere near any titles, whatsoever. And then Natalya and Beth, I mean, it's like you said, I think Natalya is really just to be the veteran to make sure everyone's on the same page, and I think she'll, like you said, do some kind of singles program to help string along like Lacey Evans or whoever else.
And I think Beth is just there for the fun Hall of Famer stuff. She'll do a couple. Because I feel like since she did the big Glam Slam on the Iconics to finish out that last match, that was kind of her big moment for that. And they'll probably do a few other cool spots at WrestleMania with her, but she's just there for the Hall of Famer pop. Yeah,
to get the oldie wrestler legend onto the card to appeal to for the women.
Yep.
So I don't see them pulling that one. So I think it just makes sense. Boston Hug just for all I know what you said that they're not really gelling as a tag team or really act like a tag team there, but it's just because it's Sasha and Bayley and they have the history. I think their belts have changed. Belts are just changing too much lately to my liking here, and there's a lot of belts right now. And I think for a belt that's new as this, probably needs to stay on the team that won
some stability is
for
good
a while.
For it for sure.
Yeah,
especially if they need to build a division up for the belts to mean something.
And it's not to say the Iconics can't come out good out of this here. No, and especially if they're going to keep the route of defending those belts across brands, there's opportunity to keep building that rivalry over the spring.
Yep, for sure.
So,
and then the main event: Becky versus Charlotte versus that little weirdo Ronnie,
who loves avocados.
Yep. I mean, I'm all on board for Becky. The man is the man. Got a plan.
When stops what they're doing when the man comes in town.
They do.
Is what I hear.
If they're not giving it to Becky, I want them to give it to Charlotte because I don't want Ronda to be the first double champion.
Right.
Because I would prefer it to be on an actual wrestler and somebody who respects the business more. Where despite you can call me a mark and saying I'm being worked, but I don't feel like Ronda respects the business because I don't feel like she even respected the UFC when she was there. So I have a hard time believing that she respects wrestling any more than she respects the UFC, which she respected pretty much not at all.
Yep.
So I would rather see somebody that's actually bled, sweat, and cried for wrestling be the first women's double champion than Ronda.
Yeah. I mean, the stars have kind of aligned in its own way here. I mean, I don't think anyone expected Becky Lynch to get as popular as she did. I mean, obviously it's a case of the Daniel Bryan syndrome again. Yeah, like she was supposed to have her own opportunity at SummerSlam for the belts before Charlotte squeezed her way in, and then what they were hoping to be a heel turn for Becky turned out to be the biggest turn for her and the biggest popularity she's probably ever seen in her life. Yeah. And it only progressed better as time went on, whether it was, the match she was supposed to have a Rousey at Survivor Series and ended up not happening because Nia, your wonderful friend, clocked her in the nose and forced her out of that match.
Yeah, forgot to let up on the punch there.
Yep, exactly. A little bit. Yeah. And then, of course, she won the Royal Rumble, and then here she is now. Yep. And by all things in the grace of WWE here, they did what they could to sabotage that. Yeah. And find a way to try to make Becky more sympathetic, but also get Charlotte into the match. Here we are now, and I think a little bit of the momentum is killed over these last 2 months because they just had to make it more complicated just to get Charlotte in there when they could easily just pull the shenanigan thing where Charlotte and Becky have a match at another pay-per-view, whether it was Elimination Chamber or Fastlane, and through some cheap shenanigans she wins and gets in the match. Or they could have just done that.
I mean, they could just have a segment of Charlotte Flair going to Vince McMahon going, I'm a Flair. Do you really want your first women's main event not to have a Flair name attached to it and have these two names in the world of wrestling?
Instead, they made Becky look like a dummy because she had a leg injury.
Yeah.
And they wanted her to be Stone Cold-like and say, well, you need to go to the doctor and look at this. And by that reason and logic that you're presenting me, you do. But then you're telling me she's the irresponsible face. That she's not going to the doctor because you're trying to turn her into the Stone Cold character. Yeah. That just... I'm sorry. There's only one Stone Cold. Yeah. As much as I love Becky, Becky is not the Stone Cold of old. You know?
And the story, and then she had to hobble around for like a month practically.
Exactly.
It's convoluted. But yeah, I think Becky has to win it. I don't think she's going to win it the way we all want because the rumors I'm hearing coming out of the WWE is they're having trouble deciding on the finish because Ronda's crying. Excuse me, that she doesn't want to be pinned or tapped to Becky because of Twitter heat.
But that's the weird thing here, because if she didn't sign a renewal, then it really shouldn't matter what she's crying about. If you're not coming back, you got to take the fall.
Yeah, well, but there's another person that can take the fall, so I think she wants to push it on Charlotte so she can go out on.
I've already seen Becky pin Charlotte so many times.
Yeah, but if I have to choose between Becky pinning Charlotte or Becky not winning, I'll take Becky pinning Charlotte.
I mean, you can make that case with Brock Lesnar because it's Brock Lesnar. He's a beast. Because that's what happened when Reigns and Lesnar fought for the first time at WrestleMania, and Rollins interjected himself with the Money in the Bank, and he pinned Reigns. I could see that. Rousey is not a Lesnar. So,
but Vince treats her like she's a Lesnar, though. And Vince thinks they both make him money, but neither one of them is the draw. Which is what's weird to me, is his draw is Becky and Charlotte, and Ronda's just tagged on. Like, if you look at the people nobody's pulling for Ronda. Like, if you look at every poll anywhere, it's Becky in the lead, then Charlotte, and then Ronda somewhere and like barely hitting double digits usually.
Yeah.
And so everybody's interested in this match between Becky and Charlotte. With Ronda's popularity-wise, Ronda's kind of the third wheel. Everybody just wants to see Ronda get punched in the face and be done with it.
Yep.
And Vince just thinks that's where the money's coming from, but nobody cares about Ronda at all. Anywhere. Pretty sure her mom doesn't either. A horrible person. But that does it for this Divas Dive. We're about to watch some NXT, so our predictions will probably come up after the night's over, because why not? We'll see how well we did. So that is all we had. Thanks a lot for hanging out. Enjoy our review of Shimmer, and enjoy your WrestleMania weekend.
See you guys.